Closer, closer.
We were actually watching it yesterday.
Rush Hour?
Yeah, because it's on Netflix.
The second one?
The second one's the one that he sings that song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was
In the
first one?
burning. Yeah, when he's in the. It looks good.
Yeah.
My face look okay.
Yeah,
Nice and
good.
fat.
Yeah, you know you like it.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, man. I just heard. Oh my god.
What?
How some people were saying you don't cheers hot drinks.
No, this is true.
It's all good. No, I mean, like that was just a take that I never heard. I'm like, oh, that is kind of.
So
right.
do we just go like this? It's still a cheer. You just don't clink them.
Yeah, because then like you just go everywhere. But why is it such a
breaks?
True? Yeah. Oh man, I get it now. Are people who cheers with food?
Oh yeah.
Like, really?
Actually, my wife and I do have that thing. We get like a burger, a nice burger. But I think we have to be proud of it though. It's like we find a place, we got the burger we want. It's this big fat burger, and we'd be like, every time it's always like we're about to do it, and we both remember at the same time.
Oh, that's so cool and cute at the same time.
I guess so.
I think that's cool. That's so cool. It's just with burgers?
No, sometimes wieners. Sorry.
You can't be serious.
Yeah, well, well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we have. I can't think of it on the top of my head, but I think like when she's cooked like some good like, those Costco whatever links or wieners or whatever, we just grab them like. It's obviously with forks, but sometimes
That's still hilarious. But yeah,
sword fight.
it went from cute to like.
Yep.
That's cool,
That's how
man.
we do it.
You know what I was thinking about? Because I seen one of my coach that coached me for the bodybuilding shows.
Mm-hmm.
He does like rituals for his kids. Like he'll he'll take one of his kids like each year or every year his kids get to go on a trip where they pick and stuff. But I just like doing rituals in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's cool because one of the rituals I had at Poly when we were every quarter we're done, me and my classmate we get a steak dinner when the quarter's end.
Really, dude, that's sick. Who's this? Okay.
Yeah,
who's the dude?
It's my classmate I've been talking about, but
It's okay. The guy that you went to the bar with. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and so like it was one of those things where, going to a steak dinner because I told him, dude, the quarter is so crunched with work and just to like move to the next quarter, like it's nothing. Like I think it's something that we're celebrating over.
Yeah. Have you gone to Petra with him?
No, you keep telling, but I remember you and your wife wanted to take me that one time when I was at the one place we were at. And hey, do you want to go? And I was like, no, I can't. I think it's because I was still on my diet in a sense.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Well, we have to. Oh no, we wanted to bring you stuff from it. No, you're right. We were trying to go. Like we picked you up or something.
No, you shot me directions. Like, oh, here's the directions when I was driving, and I was like. That's funny that you bring that up. I don't know if you heard, but I do know who Guy Fieri, guy on Food Network. He's
Oh, you know him?
The mayor. No, I don't know him.
Oh, okay.
But he actually took the show to that place.
Oh yeah, they have a little poster on it or like a little plaque.
Yeah.
The guy that owns like Fridays or something. It's like a brand or something.
He's the mayor of Flavortown. Did you know that?
Mayor
That's the running joke on mine. Yeah, but no, I think doing rituals or stuff like that's pretty cool. It's like I don't want to say it's an inside joke, but it's a bond that you can create with someone easily.
Yeah, no. Buddies and I, when we were in dynamics, it's like the physics engineering class. Before going to the lab for that class, which was a MATLAB, so we deal with software and then we try to like simulate like physical scenarios, mechanical scenarios, and then whatever. Every time we do, before we went there, we always went to the U and we went to the I forgot what it was called back then. I don't remember. It was like next to the bowling. Now it's called something else, but
It actually looks really different now from the last time you took me.
yeah,
It looks a lot different.
Well, that year the college had gone wet, right? Like it was a dry campus. Now it's a wet campus. Mm-hmm. So we would always have like this.
Explain that to listeners.
So, dry campus is alcohol free, and then wet campus we could drink in college. Basically it, right? The gist of it. Mm-hmm. And so, but obviously in designated area. So we would always get like we would get an IPA thing. Like big, and we'd like drink before we'd go to lab, but we would also work on our previous homework that it would be due. So we'd work while starting to get drunk, and then we'd go to we wouldn't get drunk, but we get tipsy and go to
that
lab.
Sounds fun though.
Yeah.
Wait, but
I mean, but you really, that was a bad habit because that's a difficult lab and it's really demanding. So you have to have like all your cognitive abilities like available. So we'd just be like,
were you to be precise in like stopping the time or something, or like
I don't remember. It was just a lot of like random. I didn't do I did okay in the lab, barely passed the lab. And if you don't pass the lab, you can't pass the class. Yeah.
So. That is the case for a lot of classes for sure. Yeah. What time was that class though?
I gotta say it was like 3 p.m. or 4 p.m.
I was gonna say if it was like a 10 a.m. class. No. Let's go.
That usually would be like the last class you would have on that day. Okay. It'd be great. And yeah, so if we do that, it would be pretty fun. Nice. Yeah. So, what's new this week? Like any cool things?
I just started for the winter quarter at Poly. Getting my bearings underneath my schedule right now. That's why I told Sam, I usually take a hold.
That's a cool. I mean, you like that you've had it on. You started it.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. I was telling Sam I'm trying to get a hold of my bearings of like my schedule, because usually the first couple weeks you try to figure out like how the dynamic of your schedule is going to work with your personal life and your outside what's the word I'm looking for? Outside extracurricular activities like going to the gym or work, and then so you try to figure out how that's going to work, and kind of the first couple weeks are kind of like bracing yourself for like, okay, hey, I'm going to switch my workout schedule. Okay, hey, I'm going to have to start work earlier. Oh, hey, I'm going to start work at this time. So that's something I'm trying to get used to right now. That's what it is. But
yeah. What based on the conversation we were having earlier, you're still with the same crowd, right? Like the classes probably has the same people.
So what I barely notice is usually like juniors, transfer students, that is, like third years basically. You're kind of in the mix of like fresh, like second years, so you kind of see the same people, but you kind of do see the younger crowd. The younger crowd, like you get familiar faces that you're going to be with the next couple quarters.
Yeah, that was one thing I didn't know how like strange it would be. Like when I transferred over, I remember I was in classes with freshmen on some of them, and on some of them we like classes with like close to graduation people, like the seniors, and so they're totally different crowds, and like why aren't they mixing? So I'm like in this middle zone where I'm getting like a bunch of people from everywhere.
What I think why that happens is because I know like Poly or any college in general has a guideline for you to like, these are your freshman courses, these are your sophomore classes, this is our junior, then this is your senior. But when transfer students, or even in general, like if you go register classes, sometimes the classes are not available and you have to just schedule or register for whatever classes are open. So that's what happened to a lot of students too, is like you take classes out of order because it's the only classes that are available to you. And so that's why you do get a mixture of seniors with the freshmen or seniors with the sophomores. That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah. Yep.
But no, I don't know, just school, and then
trying. You're not signing up for any like new events, right?
No, I mean, not that I know of. I mean, I don't plan to compete anytime soon.
Did you join any club at Poly? No?
I feel like I don't have the time.
Dude, you got it. Like, that's probably more, well, maybe not club necessarily, but something that gives you an edge in your career.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because I was listening to a podcast and he was basically, long story short, he went to USC, went to an acting career, and then realized, dude, when you're in like college, you need to take advantage of that time as far as like, not like you said, networking, but take advantage of the minds that are with you at the time, because you are with like-minded people that are thinking about the same. You guys are in the same major, same topic that you're thinking about, and you guys could possibly brainstorm to something that you could branch off and do something your own thing. So that's what I was like, damn, I did not think about that, but.
Yeah. Do they have not the WoW Week, but you know how there's like that club showcase day? I don't remember if it happened every quarter. Did it happen every quarter?
It happened in I think it's usually like for the fall, because the excitement.
So they don't do it after the fall.
Yeah, I don't think they do after I'm sure like there's a day where like they have everyone on the lawn, like at the Dexter lawn and stuff, but yeah, I don't know if it's every quarter. But no, I mean, it's exciting to see like familiar faces in my classes. Yeah, like I told Sam, it's kind of weird because I have a light schedule where I'm taking 5 classes, but I'm not spending a lot of time on campus because a lot of them are online classes. So I have to do a lot of work, but at the same time, I'm not on campus as much. So that's the only kicker. But yeah, nothing new. I'm just trying to get used to my schedule right now. So yeah. What's new with you, man?
My in-laws are in town.
Nice.
You've met them.
Yeah.
They're here. That's a good thing.
Depending on the mic, you might be able to hear them in the background, but...
Oh, true. No, I think when I edit it, you won't be able to hear
cool.
them.
That's a gift to Sam right there.
Maybe I'll keep him in there. Maybe I'll raise the volume. The crying.
Oh my God. Papa! What are the in-laws doing to my kids?
No. So that's there. Today I took my kids to the chiropractor.
Interesting.
Yeah. We try to align them. Elena is kind of like in the 40th percentile of most variables. So like the weight, the height, and the what do you call it? The head circumference. And she's on the lower mid tier, but like more in the mid, like 40s.
You got to remind me and the listener, so I don't have a kid, but usually when the higher the percentile, closer to 100, that means that they're going to be...
They're on the higher end of that. So like, it doesn't mean like it's a pass or fail. Like
it just means as far as like height, they're like one of the top of the kids, like we're seeing as far as growth or
like for example,
or bone density.
So for example, if I were to say my EQ is in the 99th percentile, what that would mean is I'm a genius,
Yeah.
What it means is like I'm one of the few people that are in the high intellectual range. And if I say I'm in the 10th percentile, it just means I have less cognitive ability, and I am also one of the few people. Maybe that's not the best example, because you might still think like, oh, well, that's a fail and that's a pass. No, not necessarily. And it just means that like in 50th percentile, that means that the most people are in that. So the average range, that usually is like from 35. 35, you're already kind of dealing with the low mid tier. But like between 40 and 60 is like where most people are in. Depending on that, yeah, that's usually what it means. So it's just like, where are you at in terms of what the rest of the population is? Yeah, which is not a bad or a good thing. It's just kind of like a data, like gotcha. Where are they?
Yeah,
and it's just good information for us to be aware of where they're at, so we know how, how to get ready for that kind of stuff. And so Elena is very average on those things, which is a good thing. Everything's a good thing, really. And Miguel is he's in the 90th percentile of most things. So height, he's in the 97th. So he's tall for a baby. Weight, same thing, like in the top. But and then head circumference, same thing, like on that top. And we compared in their months. So basically, we have a big baby. He's a big baby in all those senses. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It would be, actually, you could see it as if my baby was like average height and average like head circumference, but over the top like 90th percentile weight, then right there's a problem. There's some discrepancy. There's no coherence there, so there could be a problem. You know, like probably means he needs to lose weight, but because he's really tall and he has a big head and he weighs a lot for his age, because it's consistent, it's probably just we're dealing with a big baby.
Nice. I mean, that's good to hear. Mm-hmm. Wait, so I've never, again, I don't have a kid, so I don't know this stuff, but so you took him to a chiropractor?
Mm-hmm. Not chiropractor, sorry.
I was like, you get in there freaking
I'm so sorry.
I was like,
stretch him. Oh,
like,
gosh.
Sam, what are you doing?
Like, let me see. Relax, baby. No. Gosh, that's embarrassing. Can't believe I said that.
You're good. It must have been a long night or something, but I mean,
a little bit. That's why I have coffee right here.
The in-laws in town, you know.
Kick it already.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. But that's good to hear that the kids are doing well as far as health-wise in the percentile range and all that stuff.
Yeah. So that's cool when you do that.
Anything for yourself? The wife? Anything new? Anything you're looking forward to? I know we're...
Yeah, actually, tonight we might... I really don't think we can. So tomorrow we're doing a little thing, right? We're planning a thing for people to attend a gathering, let's say. So we need a plan for that. But we were hoping to go on a date today. But thinking that we need a plan makes me feel like it's going to be hard to do that. We'll see. When this comes out, my wife's either going to say like, oh, yeah, but we ended up going. Or like, well, yeah, we never took me. We'll see when this comes out. But hopefully we get that happen. Especially because my in-laws are here, so they could take care of the kids. And Abby and I could just like hit it.
No, I mean, that's cool, though, because I remember we were talking about when you get married, the dating doesn't stop. Like, right,
it shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's a little hard right now because like daycare. We're looking for daycare centers or anyone that could take care of them, and we just can't because of in California, you need vaccinations. Which, by the way, our kids haven't been vaccinated. Doesn't mean we're anti-vax. We're just kind of pushing it as far as we can, to avoid unnecessary vaccinations, which we feel are unnecessary. And states as California, there used to be exemptions, but not anymore. The only exemption is like some sort of like immunocompromised baby. You know? That's the only exception. Like, there's no religious, there's no philosophical, there's no like, yeah.
Wait, you can't. I won't say use, but those reasons can't exempt you from getting a like.
Daycare center for California law. Daycare centers, any institution, any organization, required to have up to date.
Even, I mean, I think about it too. Even like schools, right? Schools like require you to have
some kids like before the pandemic happened. Because we know people that have kids that don't have vaccinations, and because that daycare center took him before, and now the California thing happened after the pandemic happened. And the restrictions went up, but like no one requested the kids updated information.
So they just kicked them out.
Or maybe some institutions did, but yeah. So they didn't kick him out. So they've been able to pass by without anyone questioning it because they were already accepted.
Yeah.
But any new kid, that's gonna be hard. The only thing we could do is like, you have a friend who could take care of them. That's not illegal, right? So we need to now find a friend who's willing to look after them.
Yeah.
But which sucks because like we can only pay them for one kid or two kids, but to make it worth it for the person, it's probably best if they have multiple kids so that, because a kid typically you don't get paid not even minimum wage for one kid.
Yeah,
you get paid per day or per hour. You come to an agreement, but it's not like the minimum wage. To make it a good deal for the person, it has to be multiple kids.
Well, to take advantage of the time too.
Yeah, so they could get paid decently. But in California, if you're dealing with more than X amount of kids, you have to have a license or something. But there might be a way in by like saying that it's all family, friends or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've again still going to Cal Poly. Like, so I couldn't tell you, but no, I didn't. So what does it vary by state if you need to have?
Yeah. There's. I'm just gonna tell you more about it. She knows more about it. To me, I let her deal with that, and whatever she feels is necessary for her kids, I'll respect that. And it matches me because like I'm of the opinion that parents should have the say, and not the state. So again, not because we're anti-vaccinations, which I hate that after the whole pandemic happened, it just became this polarization of like you're either with us or against us, and there's no middle ground. And every time we even talk about it, I had a conversation about this yesterday with certain people, and they brought up like, so why are you so against vaccinations? It's like, well, that's not why we're doing it, because we're against it. We're doing it because we don't think she needs it right now. So yeah, I don't know.
Isn't it weird? I had dinner with a couple of friends probably last week mean day before New Year's Eve or something. But isn't it kind of weird how that if you don't want to give your kids vaccinations right now, at least, you're looked at as some sort of like, I don't want to say weirdo, but like you're one of those people, and it's like, no, like I want to do my research, I want to see what's best. Like if my kid needs it, then maybe I don't know if you're on the boat, but I mean that's like if my kid needs it, then I will. But it's like at this point, why do I give my kid these shots? Or we were talking about so many things that day, and I was just like, damn, this is kind of true.
Yeah.
Like why do we have to like give the shots? Like, dude, like you even said, like, dude, this kid's doesn't need the shot. What are you talking about?
Right. And so to me, it's it sucks to me. Like I hate hearing this conversation over and over again, because like I feel like we should be over it by now. And I would say like, yeah, like I don't want to create more content talking about vaccinations.
Yeah.
Like it's like this has been beaten over and over. And honestly, I feel like I'm tired of that conversation. I feel like the public is tired of hearing this conversation. So I guess I'm sorry for everyone who's listening to this and like, oh, this again. But at the same time, it's always brought up to us when we decide something against that sort of view. So if anything, if we're both frustrated, like whoever's listening and me and all of us, we're all frustrated with the fact that this has to come up over and over again. So hopefully that goes away soon.
Yeah,
but it's still a thing.
Yeah, no, we were talking about how life without internet or anything, or you just blindly follow what the doctors say, right? Yeah. Okay, hey, if the doctor says, but it's just like, okay, well, now that we have the internet, we could do our own research, and like we can decline the vaccinations now, and like all of a sudden they start questioning, okay, well, no, like we're not going to take care of your child if he doesn't have the vaccination, all this stuff. So it's like, I don't know. I think it's because now we're in an age where everyone can do their own research, and everyone's so shocked when you go against the grain for so long and don't want to get vaccinations. Everyone's just like, whoa, like, but it's like you guys are the parents of your children. You should be able to. Right. I feel like there's maybe a thought of, wow, those parents are negligent or they're ignorant and stuff, like when they think about when people who don't get vaccinations for their kids, right? I think that's the main conception, right? Yeah. A lot of people think like they're negligent, they're irresponsible, like, oh, what are they doing to their kid? They're not getting them vaccines. Like, okay, well that's I won't say that's their choice, but they're the parents, and that you gotta just believe sometimes like they're looking out for the kid. They probably done the research again, so it's just it's crazy how some people just want to. All the pitchforks come out, and it's like, dude, like we've done our own research. Let us parent our kid. We can do like. Yeah, no, it's just wild. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I feel blessed that we have the pediatrician that we have for our kids, because they're open to dialogues, and so and they don't push us at all. They don't like. I remember the first time they asked us, so any vaccinations you want to give them? Like, not really. We want to research more. It's like, okay, and then. They leave us alone, and they're open for conversation too. So I feel like that's not the case for most parents. Most pediatricians like really push you and like pressure you, and that sucks for the parent because they feel like they have to make the decision on the spot. Yeah. However, this pediatrician, he can't talk anything bad about the the vaccinations, and he's not allowed to give you exemptions. So either one, they get in trouble. But they do believe that like at the parents' pace, like, and the good thing about waiting is that you can knock off some vaccinations that are no longer required at a particular age.
Yeah.
So we're slowly reducing them, and what I think like. If we were to go with the policies and regulations like from like on schedule, the average kid today in their lifetime will get like over 70 stabs, Yeah. Listen, that's crazy. Like there shouldn't be any reason why that should be a requirement. So, and there's no way that like for a human to thrive and survive, they must get stabbed over 70 times by some weird foreign chemical that's not from their body, right? So it's like, I don't think that doesn't seem reasonable to me. And I think there's plenty of reasons to speculate and to think it over. Let's, at the very least, give us that much, Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I kind of don't want to talk about this.
No, it's fine. No, it's just because that came to mind. I mean, I want to say that it's good you brought it up, but even how one of my friends or our friends, he went to go for a checkup. He just went for an normal checkup. He was, I think he might have been sick. But like the doctor said, like, oh, do you want to get the flu shot today? And he said no. And then he's all, and he came back and he's like, all right, cool. And you sure you don't want to get the flu shot? And he's like, what other way do I gotta say no? Do you just say like no? I said no the first.
You sure?
I'll come back another time in a little bit and I'll ask a different way. And like, do you want to get a flu shot now? No. What about now? Like it's like again. We could go. I don't want to dive into it like as far as because everyone's on their own like
but it is kind of hilarious that. It comes to that, right? Like, are you sure? Like, well, no, yeah, like, and unfortunately, you do have to be that, like holding your ground. It's hard. They challenge you to not be rude,
Yeah.
Like they almost like are asking you to be rude so they could let you, so they could stop, So it's just. Like I don't, we don't have to go there. There's no, just give me my space.
We were just thinking the whole conversation wise, it was how a lot of stuff that we grew up with, we look at it now, how a lot of it's BS or it was just for optics,
Yeah,
and it's kind of like again, thank God for the internet, thank God for Google or whatever the age that we're in, where we have so much information at our disposal. Or we can find our own research on said topic and let's find out what's best for us. It's not about vaccines, but it's like making the best choice for your kid to go to college. Or it could be said topic and you could find whatever research for yourself and make a best decision for yourself by researching and no pressure by anyone. And as long as you know what you want to do.
Yeah. I'm waking up now, so
that's good, that's
I think
good.
it's
woke
because
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I spent a little too much time. Like I was watching Squid Games the second season. Yeah, I wasn't really that interested, but I started seeing like, okay, this is not.
You watched the first one?
Yeah,
I've never seen them.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, no, I want to watch I should dive into the first one.
Yeah.
I thought you said you don't watch too much shows nowadays.
Last night I didn't my body wasn't tired and I just like, what do I do? Like I hate to like lay down and just like stare whatever. Yeah. So I just like found something to do and I watched 2 episodes.
Okay. How long are the episodes? I mean,
they're a little long. Like even some of them are a little over an hour.
Well, I know like some shows vary too, or like say if it's episode 5 and it's getting closer to the end of the show, it's gonna be 2 hours this time, and then like the next episode, it just varies.
I'm a little resentful that I think they've already said that they're gonna do a season 3, and quite honestly, I was just hoping that it ended in season 2. Like, I honestly didn't even want a season 2, but they brought it up.
There was a show I feel like that's what they. Was it Stranger Things? I think Stranger Things where most of the episodes are 40 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And then one episode was like almost practically like a live action movie.
Yeah.
It was like,
the new season of Stranger Things that's coming up, every episode is like a movie. Dude, it's going to be movie length. Like,
wait, so I've never watched it myself. Have you seen it?
I've seen them all. And honestly, I hate that I'm watching them because the season of 1 was really the only good one. And they keep coming up with new scenes. Like, I feel like we're all done with it, but somehow, like, they make a new one. It's like, all right, what are you gonna do with these characters? And I don't know, that is a strange thing about that show. Like, many people still watch it, but many people don't really want another season. You know, like I just,
The running joke one is I don't know if you like. I mean, any comment section or video I feel like is the one that got beaten to death, and everyone was like, "Dude, just end it already."
Walking Dead.
Exactly. Like they're just like The Walking Dead. There are more. The spinoff. What? Like just end
There's
it.
like 4 or 5 spinoffs.
And I think they're making another show too, where it's like I don't know the characters, but it's the long-haired guy with the mustache.
Oh, the Dixon, Darlin Dixon.
Yeah,
whatever,
him,
I forget.
yeah.
No, it's on. It's been on for 2 years, I think. Since the last season ended of Walking Dead, they like almost immediately started the new show.
Wait, so what do you think?
And there's like Survivors, and then there's like,
Was it like Fear the Walking Dead LA or something?
yeah,
Or
there's Fear the Walking Dead also, and then other
Yeah.
ones. There's lots of them.
What is it you think when? I mean, we could talk about like the Fast and the Furious movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it when you keep beating a movie where you bring it back and fans are like, okay, I guess we'll watch it? Or are you one of those fans where like honestly you have to watch it, but you just watch like they came out, so I guess we'll watch it?
There's got to be like, okay, so I'm thinking I'll make the best case scenario that they've done a good job with new ones. The one that comes right off the bat that's really good is like Mission Impossible. I feel like every single movie is good. Yeah. The one movie that is very forgettable to me is number 2.
What?
Yeah, I didn't.
Dude, I kind of like that one. I like the soundtrack.
Well, it's because they had the hard guitar.
Make Metallica and
yeah. Was it them?
There was a show. Or actually one of my workout songs. You know. Yeah, I'll show you.
The soundtrack's great. I did like the soundtrack, but it was just a more. Compared to the rest is like the oddball. That's the second one.
That is true.
This is more slow. There's more of the drama, and the stunts and everything are like, it's only like at the very end and like at the very, very beginning, you know? So it's just slower. So it definitely changes. My favorite one, I think to me still is like Ghost Protocol. And almost at that order, it's like Ghost Protocol. I like Rogue Nation. And then there's the Rogue Nation, and then there was the Fallout is really good, and they've gone like they're still great, and I still like the last one. The people, it's great. I think that shows.
Well, I think also
that movie series, and they still going. There's still one more coming up, and people don't really know if that's the last one. People think it's gonna be the last one. But I don't know.
Dude, the rate that freaking Tom Cruise is taking care of himself and doing all these crazy scenes about, like he's
90.
Dude, it's insane. Like, so
that would be kind of cool though. A Mission Impossible where he's super old and he's retired, but like they need him to do one thing. Like I could see that being a good movie, right? Like,
did they have a movie like that of any sort? Where...
Well, the closest one that I really liked that movie was Skyfall, the 007.
So the last one was like Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
But I mean, Daniel Craig was still a man at the time too, though.
Yeah, but they dealt with that subject of like an old man.
Oh, did they? I didn't watch the movie, but I know
that was great, man. Yeah, Skyfall was like freaking amazing. Yeah.
Dang.
That one, and also Casino Royale with him. Remember, dude? I remember we went through this topic in film class, and you brought it up. You're like, who's a better Bond man? And you like Pierce Brosnan?
Didn't people say like he was the most garbage one?
I don't know if he's the most garbage one. No, he had a charm. I liked him.
No, I liked him because I mean, honestly, like GoldenEye, N64.
Oh like, yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I feel like I was like, oh, dude, Pierce Brosnan was cool. Like, yeah.
He was cool. I think he was cool. But I remember
Doubtfire.
He almost died, saved by Robin. That's a great movie too.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, but dealing with the long series, I feel like I don't mind Mission Impossible movies. And I do, maybe I like it for what it stands for. Like, it's still one of those, like, movies that is set out to entertain. Like, it doesn't want to preach. It just, it loves what it does, and it keeps wanting to, like, give people. I don't think they're up. Those movies are not, you could feel it in the production that it's not about getting your money. It's about giving you what you paid for. And like, it knows, like, Tom Cruise and his production team, like, know know its audience and
Yeah.
respects them enough to give them what they want. You know, so I love what those movies stand for. So I'm kind of like in favor of those. Like the 007s, like it's tradition now, you know, like it ends and then you do another iteration and like some.
They haven't made one in a minute, right? Because
Daniel Craig one was the last one.
And what year was that? I feel aren't they trying to find it? That I mean
It was supposed to be released in 2020, but it ended up getting released for 2021 or 2022. I don't remember.
who was the actor for that?
Daniel Craig.
Oh, okay.
It was a lot. The one where he dies. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Is that like the first Bond? Because is that the first Bond to like die?
Yeah, that's the. I think it's the first time that they kill Bond.
I'm about to watch it now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I remember, I mean, obviously Pierce Brosnan. Yeah, like I don't remember Pierce Brosnan dying.
Yeah.
But like, wait, so after Pierce Brosnan, it was Daniel Craig that took over, right? If I remember. Oh wow, he did it for practically 2 decades then, yeah. Practically, almost.
Yeah, actually, 2009 or 2008. No, it was even earlier. Because in 2000 and I want to say 2010.
What was Nightfire? Oh no,
2010 I think was no sorry.
Nightfire is a video game.
Yeah, well, Skyfall came out in 2010. I want to say 2010 and 2009. The Casino Royale I think it was my freshman year, which was 06, 07.
5.
No, really.
We graduated in 09.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So 05, 06. And then Casino Royale. No, the other one. Quantum of Solace was like 07. And then, yeah, 07, 08. And then Skyfall was like 09, 10. And then came Quantum of Solace, which was like 2012, 2013. So yeah, it was like, oh shit, 3
Pierce
decades.
Brosnan was the guy, so I stopped watching.
It was three. Oh, really? You never
kidding.
saw it?
I actually haven't seen a lot. I mean, I might have seen one with Daniel Craig, which it was entertaining.
Was it the poker one?
No, it was the first one.
That's the Casino Royale.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it was the first one.
Yeah, that was a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in order, not that you guys are asking for it, but in the order that I like them, I think the least favorite of them is obviously Quantum of Solace.
Is that the last one?
No, that's the second one.
Okay.
It has like a messy production. Like, yeah, there was a strike. I think that's what was happening. I think there was a writer's strike, and so the production like still needed to continue. So the script didn't like hold itself together. So they tried to push through and complete the movie while there was all this like strike going on. And then they were trying to do like the whole like dark, like going gritty. It was that whole phase in Hollywood where after The Dark Knight, everyone wanted to make everything gritty. Yeah, so it wanted to go that route. And yeah, it was just this kind of a messy production, but I still appreciate some of it. But Quantum of Solace, my least favorite of them with Daniel Craig. Next, I would say No Time to Die, which is the last one. Then after that, I would say is not Quantum of Solace.
Casino
The
Royale.
fourth. It's the fourth one.
Wait, so how many did they make with them?
5.
So okay, I don't know the name.
Well, the whatever the fourth one is, Spectre. It was Spectre.
Yeah.
Spectre. So Spectre
Sounds about right.
is the fourth one. So I like.
So that was your top one.
No, that's my third least favorite.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So last, Quantum of Solace, No Time to Die, Spectre, and then I'd put I as a tie because they're both really great. It's Casino Royale and Skyfall. They're like almost perfect.
I'm gonna go on a binge watch of 007 movies.
You don't have to, honestly.
I kind of want to watch them though,
Yeah,
because I missed out on all those movies.
Yeah.
And I want to say that was my best. I mean, again, like I think the last Mission Impossible was probably the third one that I've seen, and like probably came out way more after that too.
Yeah, the third one's great though. But if you watch the third one, to me, I always go back and watch the first and third. The other movies I've only watched once, but I appreciate them. But I always watch Casino Royale and Skyfall. Like I'll go back and watch those too.
Yeah. Well, 007, I know they're trying to. I won't say trying. They probably found their guy, but I know like there was rumors of many people. And the longest one was like Idris Elba.
Yeah, Idris Elba. I also heard of what else did I hear? There was I remember that there was a backlash regarding like getting Daniel Craig to be 007. Did you know that? There was a
Was it? Oh no, because Pierce Brosnan was an Englishman or something, right?
yeah. Well, the reason why is in the books, and there was a tradition of the character. The guy was not supposed to. It was supposed to be like, he's not supposed to be blonde, and he shouldn't have colored eyes. And he had both. That was the whole reason why there was like a backlash behind. But he proved himself to be a good Bond. So I was like, everyone was happy afterwards.
I think there's always backlash when, like, when the hardcore fans, when it's the books, right? They're always like, it doesn't match the movie. Like, what? The movie doesn't match the book. Like, like,
Yeah.
they miss so many details, or, oh, like, he wasn't this, or it's like, dude, it's the director or whoever, it's their spin on it. And, like, if it's good, then...
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Do you like it where they, like, find, like, it has to be this guy, it has to look like this, because that's how the book described him, or...
I do think sometimes it does matter.
Is it because the fans already have a picture of who he is already, and so, like, if it doesn't match that picture, like, as reading the books, then it...
Well, sometimes who they are matters in the context of the story. Like, being true to the character is important. And I think in 007's case, the true to the character and staying true to the novels they did a really good job, especially in Skyfall. Like, Skyfall was one that really, like, focused a lot on the novels and bringing out a lot. Not that there's any book on Skyfall, but they were getting a lot of the history behind the author and everything and putting it in this. So, and I do think that stories and, like, movies or just books in general, they deal with mythology. And if, like, collectively as... it's something that I've read a lot. And this is kind of like in the Joseph Campbell end of things. And that's the guy who wrote the book, Hero of a Thousand Faces. But basically, like, when you get into mythology and if it sticks with the audience, that means they like that particular character and that narrative and that archetype, like, fits into the psyche of humans. Like, it found a place where it takes on this role where humanity kind of needs that role. And so kind of like Superman, like Superman was a comic book, but it blew up and it was not just a comic book character. It became like this symbol, And so for that reason, when a character reaches that height, like, I do think it's important to be treating his character right, which is one of the reasons why I don't like how they're treating, like, superhero characters, because they're not true to the actual character and what they symbolize, which is important for, like, which is, like, it took on an important role in society, that character. And if you start twisting it and, like, tearing it apart, you're to me, that just means that you kind of hate humanity, like you don't like people, I feel like, or they just don't understand stories.
Wait, so I want to understand. So when you say twisting and, like, pulling up, are you talking about how there's so many remakes of these movies? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like
yeah, I'm on the same boat as that.
Yeah, like they're like steering away from what they were,
Yeah.
At the least, like, in the Bond movies, they still deal with the same themes, and the character still kind of stays true to it. They challenge the character, but the character ends up still fulfilling that role. Like, it's still, like, you can tell that the writers are contending with current issues with the same character, but proving once and again that character still has it's still relevant. Like, that character is still important, and
like,
it's just adapting
to society.
To society.
Okay,
They're proving, and that's where I dislike, like, let's say, like, Batman or, like, Superman. Like, I think they're turning him into, like, some sort of, like, wimp, or, like, some sort of, like, oh, I got, like, or, like, they're proving that it's kind of like saying, like, yeah, this guy is antiquated, therefore he has to be a totally different character. And I feel like they missed the point of who he was and what he stood for, and instead they turn him into something else to just like, and essentially beat him to death. And at this point, like, that symbol becomes meaningless, or the symbol is starting to lose its strength. And now it's like, okay, like they just are making a new Superman movie. James Gunn's doing it. A lot of people are excited, but I think it's just one of those things, like, it's just like a new thing, and we're all excited for a new thing, but in reality, I don't think it's going to have a lot of substance. And I don't think it's really going to make Superman any better, you know?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat because, you know, I think we might have talked about this before, but, you know, Spider-Man was one of the coolest, like, that was the first, I mean, I think X-Men might have been the first, like, live-action superhero movie before Spider-Man. Because I remember it was like 99.
Of that generation.
Yeah, so I feel, but Spider-Man was one that was like kind of mind-blowing. I was like, oh crap, this is like the coolest the way they did Spider-Man. But when they kept doing reiterations of Spider-Man, it was just like, it kind of like, not dumbs the character, but it loses its specialty, or like loses the special of like Spider-Man, you know? And I get it, like maybe you need it for like the younger generations to like grow up with like their Spider-Man, but it almost like loses its aura, it loses its specialness to it, you know, like like that's why when Tobey Maguire showed up in the Spider-Man, that was such a big pop because like, dude, he resonated with a lot of fans because he was the first one.
And he meant a lot, like, to all of us growing up.
Yeah, right? He was the Spider-Man, so that's why when I no knock on Tom Holland, no knock on Andrew Garfield, they did really good. Yeah, I mean, as far as like the best they could to what they were given, but Tobey Maguire was like the OG, like it was cool. So that's why when the Superman one again, and it's I think it sucks too when, gosh, I don't know what the actors, but you know, God bless his heart, because it probably wasn't his fault, but there's some Supermans that were just god awful. Yeah, like, and it's just no like, kidding. Dude, and that doesn't help it anymore. Like you said, it just beats it down to a point where it's like, okay, like we've seen the Superman already. Like,
people are still gonna watch it and pay for it, but like, it's not. I don't think it means the same thing anymore. Like, I think Superman's still alive, but with the older content, and so people still read it, and that stuff's still special. And there might be a few comic books out there, because I've heard other people talk about. And it seems like some comic book like threads are actually true to who Superman was supposed to be. I'm not big in Superman. I do grow up with some of the cartoons, but yeah, I was more of a Spider-Man guy for the most part, and it was definitely special to me when I saw Tobey Maguire on the screen. I saw the first movie in Mexico. I remember that. Yeah,
that was. I remember getting the video game, getting the game strategy guide to the video game. Everything Spider-Man, was like, whoa, this is Spider-Man. Oh my god! Like,
and then the number 2 came out, and that was also amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things too. I feel like when I don't know where I was going with this, but. Yeah, when they make a movie so many times, or with Superman, I mean, there's again Spider-Man. There's comic books, right? So there's many stories. There's one when he was younger. There's one when he was like this. So it's like, I get like how it's cool that there are different timelines, but just because there's different timelines doesn't mean you have to go on and make the movie, right? So it's just I don't know, but
and then I mean, Hollywood is struggling to come up with any sort of original material. It's just kind of annoying. Like, they have to look into older content that's proven to be important to the public, which to me pisses me off even more, because they get the content that we've made that has been special to us, and just to like beat the shit out of it, you know? Like, and we feel like you just took our special character and fucking put him to pieces.
I got a question. Yeah. And I saw this take, and I was like, man, now I kind of have to rethink it then. So the last Spider-Man movie, right? You seen it?
The No Way Home? Yeah.
Okay, so here's the take, and it kind of changed my mind, and I was like, man, you're kind of right. Yeah. Or whoever this person was, but they said, take away all the cameos, take away all the nostalgia stuff. Was that a good movie in of itself? But in the way, like, that's part of the movie, though, you know? So it's like, that's all, like, it goes back to what you were saying, like, they almost had they made a movie on banking on nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like, I won't say that's original, because, like, that's
Yeah.
Whoever thought that we were going to bring those characters into that storyline, right? But yeah, it is just like, okay, if you take away Tobey Maguire, you take away Andrew Garfield, you take away
all those villains.
What's God, I'm forget Osborn, the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
You take away, because he's the one that actually did a really good job.
Yeah, he's amazing.
You take away all that, and again, that's a big part of the movie. But is it a good movie without those things?
Yeah,
because I know nostalgia is an easy thing to grab people, right?
Yeah,
like, oh, it's nostalgic. Oh, like if they release a old Nintendo, like, oh, let's buy it. It's because it's nostalgic. So,
it was amazing to see Tobey Maguire as much as it was, but yeah, at the end it felt like a dog bone. Yeah, like like Disney probably started feeling that we were losing its audience, so like they just threw a dog bone at us.
That is true.
And just to get us back in. And then once you like, okay, this worked. All right, now we have enough money to like still make trash material. And it's like fuck you guys, man. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I have a beef with Disney for that.
You know, you're talking about No Time to Die and getting older.
Oh yeah. Dude,
I wanted to talk about this topic for a minute because it's been on my mind probably ever since like 2 episodes ago. But, well, how do I say this? What things worry about you when it comes to aging? And I'm not saying Asians, aging.
Yeah.
Aging, like I had a talk with a couple of my friends, and one of them for us guys that we worry about, I won't say worry about, but it's like getting gray hairs or what's like, what are some things that you worry about when it comes to aging? Is there something that worries about you?
Yeah, I worry about legacy. Like, what am I going to be? What am I? What have I amounted enough like in my life?
Dang, I didn't.
What have I gone and like what do I have to leave behind?
Dang, you took it a different direction.
Well, I always think of that shit, man. I have nightmares. I have nightmares that like I'm old and I have nothing to show.
That's so, dude. That is no, because the easy thing when it comes to aging, a lot of people think physical appearance, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be so old and wrinkly, or oh, I got gray hairs, or like for me, it's like, dude, I saw I got a gray hair in my nose hair, and it pissed me off.
Yeah.
It pissed me. I was like, it didn't piss me off for the day. It pissed me off for the whole week. I'm like, oh, get out of here, dude. You're a loser. Get out of here.
I actually look forward to the gray hair, to be honest. Yeah. I do look forward to that.
But
I don't know.
I just like for you. I liked how it wasn't anything physical though.
Oh.
I liked how yours was like. You were like, dang. Like,
I do worry that I stay fat. I do worry about that.
We'll get you in the downtown. We'll get you in a good shape. Don't worry. Yeah. That's it. That's okay. Again, like that's up to you. You know what I mean? Like, whatever good shape is to you, it's like. Yeah.
I also do worry about how my kids are gonna remember me. But more than remembering, like I just want to know if I did good by them. You know. Yeah. Kids. I worry. I want my wife and I to grow old happy, and so I'm also like that. I think about a lot.
Man, here I am. Oh man, I got a gray hair in my nose. Like, yeah, I think that's. Oh man, like you. I want. It's not a. I won't say it's a good thing or a bad thing because most of you want to take care of yourself. But I like how you didn't have aging related to anything physical wise. Obviously, like that's the obvious thing, like like I'm not gonna be able to walk the same, or I'm not gonna be able to run, or
it's weird. I maybe there is maybe I do have some sort of like that fear, but it's not like, to me the time and the aging is not the bad thing. Like I look forward to being my best self at whatever age I'm at. So like I think of myself like, oh, I'm gonna be 50. I'm gonna be like in such in great shape, because I look at people, people that I look up to online, and they're in their 50s. Some are even close to their 60s. I'm like, they're in fucking great shape and they look great and they have a lot of energy. Like, I can't wait to be like that. And I'm like, wait, how am I saying that? And I'm in my age and I'm in like my worst shape ever, So it's just like, and it's going back to like, I don't want to beat myself up on that end. I know there's a lot of habits I need to change, and I don't like, if I were another person and I looked at myself and thought of everything I went through, like I wouldn't blame that person, like, yeah, they'd probably need help, but so this is not me saying that I've done like bad things with myself. It's just where I'm at. So I just kind of like have to think about what matters, you know, like kind of like what I go back to that episode where you brought it up. Like you have everything available to you. You don't have to think about too much into the future. Just do good choices now, and good things will come later. You know, like so. Dude, that was like one of the best things you've ever said.
Dude, I'm glad that stuck with you because I think about things that you have said to me, or like even where it's just like you're talking about stuff like, whoa, like last week, don't put blocks in your way when you don't have to, and I was like, whoa, like that was deep, and I was like, okay, like that stuck with me. But I think you've touched on it too. I think you can't just be hard on yourself because one thing that I definitely like locked into my head, especially going to like Cal Poly and definitely like going through rough times throughout our life, is just know that it's just a season. Think of the seasons, okay, like maybe like soccer, like if you want to compare it to like seasons of the year, or think about like soccer and a season in soccer. Like okay, hey, like there's preseason, there's the season, there's playoffs, and then this ends. And so like when the soccer season ends. Yeah, it's gonna suck. There's no soccer for like the next whatever months or weeks. I don't know how what soccer happens or football. Football, there's like, oh, your team lost, and you're like, oh, now you gotta sulk in it. But you just have to know, like, if you're in a period where you're just not content with where you're at, and as long as you know that you're in a season where, okay, like I want to say you're not putting yourself first, but just know that you're in a season right now, and that season can easily change to where, okay, now I'm gonna put myself to where. Remember that goal that I had when I want to be like that strong, ripped 56-year-old businessman or man that I was looking up to? It's my time to turn the turbines and let's get this going. Like yeah. So it's yeah, like you said, it's not to beat yourself up, but you're just in a season right now where you want to make sure you're there for your kids. Your business is the main important thing. I mean, you just launched your business what 2021
2021, yeah.
Yeah, remember we talked about
December 2020, but yeah.
So yeah, we're barely coming up in the fight. Remember what was that stat? Like if or what is it? Businesses that there's a good amount of businesses that don't make it out of the 5 years.
Yeah, I think we're in the. Well, I think we're hitting the 90th percentile of businesses. Because there's hundreds and hundreds of businesses that no one hears about that don't make it. You know?
Yeah. So
yeah.
That's the main thing for you is to keep, I want to say keep it afloat, but to make sure that you it's definitely like it's your own baby as speaking as the business.
Yeah.
And so definitely like the past couple of years that was your goal. And I feel like when it's easy to be like, okay, I can take a little bit off the reins. And I think I can like let people I can delegate people, or I can like not have to worry so much. But,
yeah. But no, for sure. There's definitely a lot of like good things that we've achieved that we don't acknowledge for sure.
And I think it's definitely hard when you're busy too. That's what I noticed about it for me, myself, and I'm sure you too, where you have like a victory or something, and it's like, we talked about the past episodes too, which is like, oh, okay, cool. I got an A in this class, or oh, hey, like this client is happy with the project we did for them, cool. Like, and you're just like, okay, wait, what's next? Like, because I think for you, it's you want to keep providing, like you said, providing to your legacy, and that legacy means that your kids are able to eat and get the things that they want, or make sure, like you said, cementing your legacy. I think that's what you're worried about, and so that's why I think we always look to the next things, because one, I think we're afraid that the opportunities are we're afraid that the opportunities are scarce, and so we think it's gonna run out, or I always like that saying too, is like where the spotlight's gonna be on you for only a little bit, but I don't think that's the case. I think the spotlight is on you, and you get to control where the spotlight is, especially when it comes to your own career and stuff. Yeah.
I when it comes. Wait, what was I trying to say about that? Well, yeah, I'm struggling with words right now. Maybe you think of something while I try to remember.
No, you're good. No, the main reason I brought this topic up is just because it was an ongoing thing. I talked with my barber. It was weird because we were talking about my friend, because long story short, we were at the airport, and I remember I was like, hey, do you remember when me and this person, like, there was a mouse.
You saw it?
I seen it. I seen our guest. It went that way. And I'm not being paranoid this time.
No, this is true. I have to bring Jasper.
No, that was our first guest there, guys. So
Oh, I need to bring my cat.
yeah,
He's scared of the garage though. My cat. I need to bring him often. That mouse won't stand a chance with my cat. He's a great mouse.
Jaspy.
Yeah. And I remember in where we were in Los Osos, he would bring every mouse he'd caught. You know, we were that house that we were like in the middle of nowhere. Like he'd catch them, and then he got rid of them all, and then he got bored, and then he started getting like random shit. Like he got birds, he got lizards. And it was cruel too. He would like find lizards, bring them alive, and play with them, and then wants them to like keep moving, so he could keep like playing with them. And then he'd cut the lizard's like tail and play with the tail because the tail will still move. And start playing with it.
He's a psycho
and then when we
cat.
moved, apparently the
American Psycho. He's a cat psycho.
Cat psycho, American cat psycho. Yeah.
That's who he is, dude.
Yeah, and we moved out of there, and then the next tenants complained with the landowners that they have a mouse problem, and then the landowners called us like, "What'd you do with the mouse problem? Like, what mouse problem? Like, well, the current tenants have a mouse problem. Like, did you guys not have anything?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's probably because we had a cat, and he got rid of them all, so they probably got scared and left." But now that it's gone, they probably realized that the cat's gone and they could go back. And then it became an even bigger problem.
That sounds funny because I just think of like Jasper's like this warrior that just like beheads up and then bring the head back to you guys. Here's what I got this time. That's what it reminds me.
Now you're reminding me of, have you ever seen Love, Death, and Robots?
Nah.
It's like a series of, it's like an anthology collection of stories of animations. And there's one about like this farmer who has a rat problem in his farm, and he buys robots that take care of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then he brings the dead mouse and rats, and some of it's sad because the cat some of the mouse like like if it was from war, and then the freaking robot comes back and like fucking tears them apart.
Like he has his legs blown off and it's just trying to like...
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty graphic. It's an entertaining show. But yeah, anyway.
No, before we saw our third guest I remember, so we were talking with my barber about this person, and we were talking about, oh yeah, do you remember like when we went to your bachelor party, we were at the airport, and like I was telling this guy like, hey man, you got some notes here. He's like, oh, you got some too. And I'm like, oh, let's go to the bathroom. We just plucked them out in the middle of the bathroom, and like, yeah, because notes just gotta be the most annoying thing ever, dude. Like I swear,
they do.
Like, but obviously they serve a purpose to like help you not get infections and all that good stuff. But long story short,
grow a beard so they'll just blend. I'm just kidding.
So I seen him at the gym this past Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
And I didn't think anything of it. I just walked up and said, "What's up? Hey, dude, I haven't seen you in a while. I was just talking to so and so about you. Like we were when we plucked our nose hairs that one time, right?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "How you been, dude?" He was like, "Oh, I've been good, man. Still working." And then like, I don't know if you could tell, but like, dude, like I have a lot of gray hairs, and I'm like, dude, that's fine, man. Like, who cares? He's like, yeah, I'm not too insecure about it, man. I mean, the fact that he had to tell me about it first, I mean, like, okay, maybe you are, but
yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's like how I kind of like how you said it, and that's what I thought before. I'm glad that you said that because I think it's kind of cool to see your friends or grow up with someone to age, because I feel like you got the privilege to know that person when they were young, and you got to see them now. And so you see them growing,
Yeah.
So I think that was a cool thing when, I won't say cool, but yeah, it's almost like a privilege to see someone age.
Yeah. You know what? I have a theory. I think I know why sometimes you would, like, the physical part worries you. It's because you hang around with a lot of younger kids right now. Because they're ruthless when it comes to age. Like, what? You're what age? And you're like, you never think about your age, but they're making you think about it. It's like, what's wrong? I'm trying.
Well, it goes back to what you said, I think, last couple episodes where, we find, when I found the word now, because you're saying, like, it's our anthropology or whatever.
Yeah.
It's in our biology, right? Where
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It's in our biology, like, like you said, if we're not attracted to the female or the opposite sex, we feel like we're gonna perish and die alone.
Yeah.
And I feel like we associate aging, getting gray hairs makes us less and less attractive.
Could be.
In our own minds, you know that.
Or we're losing time to have offsprings.
That
Maybe
too.
that
too.
Yeah, because we didn't live that long back in like caveman days or the village days, right?
Yeah.
Like the older you are, the less like kids.
That's what I'm saying. So you brought it to that point. I was like, oh, that's probably why we fear aging. I mean, like maybe some people fear it, and also I think it's because it reminds you that you're mortal. Like you're gonna die, dude. You start balding or like you start getting gray hairs, you start getting wrinkles. Like that's a sign of like, hey, yeah, you're not young anymore. You're getting older.
Yeah,
and I think that's why we.
Yeah. What do you think about death? Because this is part of the same topic, right? Like, do you have any thoughts on death? Like any general thoughts in general? Like, are you afraid of death?
I'm afraid of death, not of death itself, but death because I'm not gonna be able, or I feel like I haven't accomplished. I want to say lived up to potential because like what is potential anyway, right? Like I think we make this own thing in our heads of like what our own potential is. Like we gotta live up to this potential, but I feel like I'm not gonna be able to experience or have done a lot of things I want to before death. Yeah, that's the one. I'm not afraid of death. It's more of like I'm afraid for myself and maybe others that don't get to see things for myself like happen or things that happen to them.
If you die, what do you think you'd be remembered as? Like right now, if you were deceased.
Man, this is real right here. I want to say. I feel like for the most part, I've been a friendly person for sure. I think I've definitely been friendly, a friendly person. I want to say hardworking. So I would say friendly, hardworking, and that's the only thing I could come up right now. I mean, maybe it's because like I'm a prisoner of the moment right now because obviously I'm working full time, going to like school and stuff, and going to the gym. But those are the only two I think of. Because I remember definitely growing up, I was a friendly person. It didn't matter from what color your skin was, what city you were from, or what interests were you in the marching band, or did you like anime, or did you like film school, or were you in the marimba band? Like, dude, I won't say this word, but like, dude, I was friends with you. I don't care. I mess. A good terms. I mess with you, or I f with you. You know, like I mess with you because like. If I found something interesting in you, or if I found something in dance, like I was, dude, you're my friend, cool. Like if we had something in common, dude, I'm friends with you, we're cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know that some of our audience probably. I'm not assuming that everyone in our audience believes in God or not, but for our conversation, like, if you were to die now and see God face to face, what would be the first thing you'd tell him? Would it be a question? Just anything? It doesn't have to be a question. I did say, what would you tell? But it could be a question.
I feel like the question is, did I do it right?
Yeah, I feel like most men would think that too.
Yeah, did I do it right? Like, did I live to, I won't say your expectations, but was I a good person? Did I do everything right in your eyes? Like, was I obviously I know the word, like, you know, because obviously I've delved into different religions, but the word is self-righteousness, right? Like, oh, I know I'm a good person because I did this, or like, oh, I'm a no person because I donated money, or like, oh, I donated food to this homeless person. But it's like that's self-righteousness because you think in your eyes you're a good person, right? But to look into someone else, like someone that you or like a God that you believe, or the religion that you believe in, the God that represents that religion. Does that, like, did you do it right in that person, the God's eyes, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, now you're dealing with self judgment, right? You're trying to judge yourself.
No, I mean, saying like, yeah, like I wouldn't say like, obviously on earth you're not going to judge yourself, right? But like when you go wherever that place may take you and you see that you're God, you want to, hey, did I do it right? Because I mean, because when you're doing those things, I won't say a lot of people judge themselves, but I mean, I know like I try to do things in good heart for myself and to others too. So, what about you? Do you fear death? Or what do you fear about death? Or is there what is your belief?
Very similar to you, where I am afraid that I didn't do my best. That's what I'm afraid of. Yeah, I constantly fear like, oh shoot, like, will my kids be all right? You know, like I don't. Yeah, would my kids be all right? Would my family be all right? Would you know, um, yeah, I think of that a lot, and as well, like, how will I be remembered? That's something that concerns me.
How do you feel like you would be remembered to people? Like,
Um,
okay, if we were in the hypothetical, what would they write on the back of your tombstone?
oh shit.
Sam was dot. Or Sam.
A bitch.
My boots? No. I'm just kidding.
No, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, a part of me is scared of death. I mean, I'm not answering your question, but just kind of adding to the question before. Part of me is like, who's gonna love my kids like I do? You know, like, so I'm concerned that they won't get that love that I can offer them.
Yeah.
Not to say that my wife isn't enough. She loves them in her own way. She loves them. That she has an expression of love with them that is also amazing. So I know that she will take care good of our kids. But part of me is like, I have so much to offer in terms of like how I express that love to them and how I want to like, and so I'm concerned like who else is gonna do that if I'm not there, like they'll miss out on that part. But yeah, what would they write? I mean, there's a typical things that people would probably write like like a loving husband, loving father, loving
Filmmaker.
son. Yeah. Maybe someone who I would think that people would think of me as like as someone who would never give up, probably. Like, I do think that I'm not stubborn necessarily, but someone who I do have like endless determination. Like, I'm always very determined and dive deep on stuff. It's someone who's I wouldn't say stubborn, but doesn't give up easily. And so maybe have something to do with that. Yeah, I guess lots of resilience. I guess I would think.
Nice. Yeah, they're definitely great qualities for like us men, you know, for sure. And it's weird. I mean, that's cool. Like I won't say cool, but yeah, we thought of like the same thing. Like, did I do it right? Or like,
Yeah.
did we do our best? Like, what did we do? Like,
If you were to die, let's say, if we were to end it, would you have been happy to have lived? You know, does that make sense? Would you have been happy to have lived? Like, you die, you meet God face to face.
well, you talking about like right now if I were to die?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I've talked about it with your wife and stuff, but like, dude, I would definitely like love to have a family of my own. So I feel like that would part of me was like, dang, I didn't get to do that. Like,
yeah. So you would be dissatisfied.
Yeah, for sure.
I see.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I feel like I would think the same way as you. Part of me just feels like nothing in this world is guaranteed. So like I can't. As much as I would love to, I have to accept the fact that it's as much as like I feel like I'm owning my life, I feel like it's out of my hands, you know? So I can't feel like I have like it's my right to live my full life, you know? It's like no, it's like life will throw at you whatever it wants, you know? So part of me feels lucky the life that I've lived so far, because I know that people have it rough. I guess we all have it rough. So I'm not trying to compare with other people, but like all things considered, I gotta say like I appreciate the life I've had, have now. So I feel like I would be happy. I would not be happy going now, but I do feel grateful for the life that I've had, if that makes sense. You know, having the friends that I have, having my kids. Yeah, like if it was pre-marriage, I do think that like oh, I was made to be a dad, you know? Like I could totally see that like being a part of me that would just be dreading, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm happy I came to this point to have kids. So I'm even more grateful that so I guess maybe that's why I'm probably more gearing towards the grateful part.
Well, no, part of me thinks too. Like, I'm glad that you brought that up because, let's say, you said something in the beginning as far as like nothing's guaranteed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what if like God had this crystal ball, like when I die or when I meet this God, and He shows me like, here, do you want to see what happens when you die, or if you didn't die?
Mm-hmm.
He shakes it, boom. It's like, like I have part of me was just thinking, okay, like yeah, I end up being with my wife and whoever it is, but part of me like thinks, well, or he shows me this reality where we're not able to have kids, and I was like, oh crap. So like that kind of brought my mind too. Like you said, nothing's guaranteed. So
Yeah.
like, what if I were to like end up with a wife
Mm-hmm.
and we aren't gonna have kids? Like, what if that's a possibility? Like, we
Yeah.
don't have a family, and like that kind of opened my mind. It's like, yeah, nothing is a guarantee. And like, I mean, I know you were kind of speaking in terms of like, we can get hit by a car any day, or any
Yeah.
day of the week, or we can step outside and hey, that's your day.
Yeah.
But I was thinking as that in a sense where even if you think that if you're gonna go away, you're not guaranteed to like have kids.
Yeah.
You're not to.
Yeah. Because this be weird. Like I feel like I wouldn't be as happy now if I didn't have kids. But let's say for example, my daughter has this condition and suffers a lot, you know, and it's almost guaranteed that she'll pass away within several years, right? Well, does that mean I'm less happy? You know, like even though I had the kids, having kids probably means you're more prone to more suffering, you know, because now you have more things invested in this life, and it's like now there's more reasons to suffer. There's even
Yeah.
more reasons. You know, the more things you accumulate, the more reasons to suffer. Which is why the solitary life to a lot of people is probably very attractive. It's like, I never want to get married. I never want to have kids. Well, yeah, that life is easier actually. So
Which is very popular in this generation right now
yeah,
too.
for sure. Like I just want to fuck around and not have kids, and I get it. It's it's Neverland. It's Peter Pan not growing up.
Yeah.
Which sorry, that felt like that felt
shot.
like I'm stabbing at people, but I do think
Damn you,
that's,
anti-vaxxer! Yeah, I'm done. I'm on unsubscribe from this podcast.
but I do that story's there for a reason and why it became popular. So it's I mean, not that, well, I mean, there's plenty of areas in my life where I'm like that. I don't want to mature in those areas, but you see it in the population that's an attractive lifestyle.
Yeah.
And having kids, I think, is more fulfilling, but it's probably, you have more reasons to suffer. Like now you're really invested.
Yeah. No, I want to talk about another thing about aging, but I just want to touch on that last part. Is it sounds, again, I don't have kids, but it sounds like the stock market, right? Like, oh, I got a new stock, and like at any moment those stocks can, again, I'm not gonna say anything, but that stock could go down and like, oh crap, like what happened? Like, why did that happen to me? Like, I invested this X amount of money. I did the best I could researching this. Like, it's that's what I'm like, damn, like, yeah, it's an investment. Like, obviously, like, we can think about the monetary things as far as like how much it costs to like raise a kid until 18 and all that stuff. But like, that's not, you don't even think, I won't say you don't think about that stuff, because obviously like the necessities and all that stuff matter, but you don't think about those things. You just do, right? You just, oh, they need food, okay, we'll pay for it. But you don't think of it like, oh, well, this is $60,000 in my lifetime or whatever it costs to be a kid. But yeah, you just don't think about it. But yeah, I didn't think about it. You are investing time and energy and money and all that stuff into this little baby that grows into a human being and ends up being their own adult. Yeah. But
I do think that if there's something out of this that I would like all of us to go out of, like I do think we need to think of death a lot more.
I'm so glad you said that, man, because I was gonna say that after I brought this up, but I took a class a year ago. It was about like gerontology. So people don't know the term gerontology. So
I
like,
don't even know what that
so
means.
gerontology is basically like the care or research or the care and study of older people.
I see.
And the one thing I wanted to bring up is I'm glad that you segue this for me is the one thing that kind of bums me out about aging is I every time I like come home from work, or I don't want to say every time I come home, but I just there was one day I'm like I looked at my mom, I'm like, dang, I said it to myself, I'm like, man, you're getting old. Like
Yeah.
like you see them aging, and it doesn't bum me out that they're aging. It reminds you like, dude, they're I won't say their time is coming, but it's like,
They're fragile.
yeah, and especially because a lot of people that don't know, but like my mom like rolled her ankle, and then it wasn't a rolled ankle. She ended up breaking her both of her tibia and fibia on her leg bone, dislocating her ankle. And so that was a glimpse into of itself for me to like, okay, wow, like this is serious. And then I don't know, I kind of got that feeling this past year or so, and every time I look at my mom, I'm like, and especially my dog too, because my dog, I know my dog, she only has like a couple of years left, but I see both of them getting old, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that feeling is when it comes to like aging or seeing them age. It's just like maybe it's a reminder, okay, I know you're busy and all, but you have to. I don't know if it's God or it's just the circumstance telling you. It's like, hey, I know you're busy, but sometimes you gotta just drop what you're doing, make time for your family, your dog,
Yeah.
your mom, and yeah, I want to say it bums me out, but it just I don't know what that feeling is. It's just maybe
Yeah, most definitely. I get it. I get
yeah, and I agree with what you said. I want to say it's gonna make death, talking about death and experiencing death anywhere in your life a lot easier. But I feel the conversation about death should be, I won't say normalized, but we should talk about it more.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many true things we know in life, and death is one of the most truest things that we do get to know in life. Like it's there, and yet it's one of those things that we act as if it's the least truest thing. We act if it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, isn't
yeah,
it funny though when I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, it's all good.
not funny, but we don't talk or experience about it until it does happen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I find it funny, like and I think this has been brought up in other podcasts too, but I did think about this before, and my wife actually brought this up to me too, and that there's a lot of focus on like spreading your ashes around, or spreading someone's ashes around and not having like a tomb or like a coffin, or even like, oh, what if I get planted into a tree so I can become a tree? So that sounds cool and all, but then there's something very unsacred about death. Like there's something very, I think if we think about it, like burying them, that ritual of burying them, honoring them and having a place and honoring that body that like a loved one's soul occupied, there's something very unique and very special in the human condition that like it's important to acknowledge them. But this kind of like trend of trying to avoid doing that, I feel like I think it is telling of our times that like people don't want to see cemeteries. They want to make death disappear into somewhere, like pretend it's not there. And you go to a hospital and someone who's, if you really want to experience life to in a weird way, if you want to experience life to its fullest in its range, go to a loved one's deathbed, and you really will experience like love and suffering and happiness and sadness all kind of combined in one little area. And it's like you will live your fullest life in that one little moment when you're at the deathbed of someone. It's strange. It's really strange, and it's one of the most like beautiful and like one of those beautiful but very like tough things to experience. Yeah, it's just
No, I won't say I have anything to say, but I was just feeling like when you were saying that, I just imagined like how many times I've gone to a hospital and experienced that, and
yeah.
you hit that right on the head. It's just there's so many emotions that run through you, and I feel I mean, there are times where I've gone to a hospital, and especially when someone's about to go, you just There's part of me. I remember there was an instance where I went to someone's deathbed. Oh, I was that they were really in a critical condition, right? And you just see the condition, and that you're just like, oh, like it. I don't know. I want to say it's hard to look or like because they'll be like, hey, like hold your hand and stuff, or like, hey, hold his hand and let him know you're here. And I was just like, it's just it's not sad, but it's I don't. It's more of like you don't want your mind to go there. Like, hey, this he can go at any moment type of
Yeah.
thing, and it's just you want to avoid it, or I want to
Yeah.
say avoid it, but you're just like you don't want to accept the fact that you're in there and that this could possibly be one of the
Right.
last times you see this person.
Yeah, I wish I would have seen my grandparents go away. I didn't get to do that. And I have kids now, and even though they won't remember, I do want to kind of. I have an aunt who's, I think, yesterday I learned that she's in a really delicate condition, and she's in Mexico. My mom's going to go and visit her on Monday. And part of me, like, I wish I could take my daughter and my son there, and just as a family, even though they probably don't understand, just kind of like be there for Elena and my boy to learn that, like, if someone's in if a loved one is about to go, it's important that we're there. And like, and I do have my children have two great grandmas, and they're both kind of also in critical condition. So I, like, in my head's like, I'm antsy, like I need to be there before that happens.
They live here in the States?
No,
or?
they live.
Oh,
One
okay.
lives in Washington. One lives in Colorado. They're not my grandparents. They're my wife's grandparents.
Oh, okay.
So it's my kids' great grandparents.
Yeah.
So I want to be there for both of them, and I could care less about the money and the expense, but it's timing it right. And I don't necessarily mean like we should go when they go. It's more like, let's continue going because we only have them for so long, and I do want my kids to experience seeing, like, someone slowly becoming more and more delicate, and showing them that we have to pay attention to them even more, and then at some point go. I do want them to be exposed to that kind of stuff. Not necessarily, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how else to explain that, but I don't know how to put that properly, but that's something that's in my heart lately.
No, I think that's cool that you think that because I want to say to show them that it's okay when someone passes, like you said, but uh, I want to say it's important to show them, like you said, to show that, hey, there's times where you need to show critical attention to
Yeah.
these people, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when my dad passed when I was like 6 or 5. I don't know. I know the year, but I just don't know how old I was. But I remember when we were at the funeral home, my mom was like, "Hey, like rub his head and stuff." And I remember,
Wow.
I remember that. So he was in his coffin.
We talked about this in another episode, but keep going. But I love that you're bringing this up again. It's like, yeah.
I remember that stuff, like you said. That so I want to. It's definitely important to me because, like, again, I remember that stuff. I want to say it scarred me, but like I remember that stuff. I remember like his like rubbing his head, like how cold he felt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like how cold he felt. Yeah, it was. I don't. We did talk about this, but yeah, when my dad passed, like you're just young, you don't understand things, and we talked about it before. When you're young, you don't know a lot of stuff, right? But when you're older, you know so many things behind the curtain of like what goes behind something, right?
Wow.
When someone died to me, or when my dad passed, I thought it was a big old party in my house. Like, hey, I never seen you guys in my house. Hey, what's up, man? Like,
That's
the
interesting.
living room was so packed. I'm like, man, this is the packest I've ever seen. And I'm like, holy crap! Like, what? Whose party is this? And
Wow.
like, yeah, that's so. I think it's important at an early age to really show your kids.
Do you think about your dad much?
Definitely. I won't say I think about my dad, like, experience wise, but I think I've talked this. I talked with you, and I also talked with our friend Steven.
Yeah.
What it would have been like to have a father in my life, because there's experiences that happened in my life, and I'm just like, I wonder what it would have been like to have a father figure in my life to show me, hey, it's okay when this happens to you. Like, this is just temporary, or this is what like, let me show you how to tie a tie. I told my friend Tommy in Washington, and he even told me too, because he lost his dad in freshman year, but he's like, dude, I remember you showed me how to tie a tie because my like his dad passed senior year, and he's like, yeah, like dude, like you showed me how to tie a tie for graduation. I was like, dude, that's freaking because I had to learn how to tie a tie by myself because I didn't have anyone to show me, and like honestly, like my mom did the best to raise us, and you know, bless her heart because she had to take on the role of not only being a mother figure but being the father figure too in a way because it's almost in a similar way like how society now where I know we're getting a little closer on time,
good.
but it's you know like it's a girl. You're a girl dad. Like I want to say like you have nothing to relate to the daughter, but it's like oh okay, there's things I'm not familiar with. But so like imagine that with my mom. Like she had to raise these two boys, and
Yeah. See, that's part of what I'm afraid of if I were to go. It's like not being there to share those, give that experience to my kids, not being able to. And quite honestly, like, I hope this is not like a thing of you, but like right now thinking about it, like all the stuff, I know that everything I do to my kids will affect them as they grow. Like they're learning as I'm there, but you know, she's 3, he's 6. I mean, she's 2. He's 6 months old. And you were 5 and 6 when your dad passed away, and you know your memory of him is limited. Your memory of how you remember him is limited. So I'm afraid if I'm gone, they're not gonna remember me for shit. You know.
yeah.
And so that's kind of a scary thought for me. I gotta say.
Yeah, 'cause like you said, I don't like personally. I was like kind of remember, but I remember there was instances like obviously I had my first sip of beer when I was like 5.
Yeah.
I can get. I don't want to get too deep about it, but I mean, there's some other things that we probably discuss off camera, but.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that happened to me when I was like 5 or 6, or it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I remember my dad did that to me, or oh yeah, my dad showed me this, or like, okay, like, definitely probably didn't help to shape me into a human being that I am now, but
I can't wait to like teach them stuff. Yeah,
that's cool, man. Dude.
I'm afraid that I won't get the chance to do it.
Oh man, it goes back to where like we gotta focus to our.
Yeah. I think I mean it's good to think about death. I do think we need to think about it more. But there's a healthy way of doing it, and I think I'm kind of like on the borderline of starting to like become too worried about it. But anyway, it's just but maybe it's a process I need to go through, right? And because we kind of like sometimes if you force something out of your own mind and lock it up, like it'll become a bigger issue, and it probably needs to go through that process of coping with that idea, and then finally you get to a good relationship with it, you know?
Yeah.
So like, for example, if you're afraid of who knows what, like it become even a bigger fear. So unless you face it, which might end up being messy, you won't be able to have a decent relationship with it. Like I'm trying to think of other things, but death is definitely would be something, right? So.
Yeah. That's weird. I want to say weird, but like I remember, like this is your, I want to say your thoughts about death, or maybe into the future too. But I remember you had that thought, like even when your first one was born, because I remember I think you had texted me, or maybe we were on our way to do our podcast or something. But I remember you were telling like, dude, I'm afraid that my wife and I aren't gonna be able to protect our daughter. We're given this responsibility to take care of her, and I feel like we might not be able to like take care of her, shield her from the world. Like you were saying, like to protect her from like outside stuff or something, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, a lot of it is out of your hands, and you do what you can. And yeah, it's scary.
Yeah,
scary thought, but it's something that I think it's healthy to understand, to come to the realization that you're a vulnerable person and you're not almighty.
Dang.
So I think that's important to remember.
Dude.
Why are your pants so off?
you knew what I was gonna say right now, dude. Like that was, damn. But why is that? So is that something for you? You think about often? Like
I try to. I mean, it probably doesn't help that I read about it a lot. Like I'm really deep into philosophy. I mean, one of the big things. I mean, and then also. it probably has to do a lot with Catholicism too, because like I mean, if you think about like there's the memento mori thing.
Yeah, I love that saying, or
Yeah.
is it a saying or like a phrase?
It's a Catholic teaching.
Yeah, I just know like you're immortal, right? Like,
yeah, remember death.
Yeah,
always remember death.
Yeah.
And I mean, if we like, you think about like our prayers, it involves a lot of death.
Yeah.
Like, no, wait, how many full of your now in the hour of our death, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's, and we constantly repeat that stuff. And in mass, you're like, you're thinking we're in the valley of tears and, things like that. So it's all about, the whole religion is revolved around mortality. And so it's, I mean, we have a cross with a man died on it, right? So it's like, it's constantly, it encourages us to, so I think part of that influences how I think,
Yeah, well, I mean, because I'm sure I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there that we forget that we're mortal, and we forget that we're. What'd you say? Was it panty dropper lines? Like we're vulnerable and.
We're not almighty.
Man, like, why is it? Is it because how fast life is right now, or is it because we get caught up in our own goals, wants, and needs, and it's easy to forget about that stuff? Because I feel. If we didn't forget about how we're all not so mighty and all that stuff.
Oh, I see what you're asking. This is a yeah. Continue. Finish it.
No, it would make us more mindful of being in the moment, but instead we get caught up in our wants, our needs, and keeping up with the Joneses, and
we had a thought about this. Abby and I went through like a little mortality thought. Abby had like this existential thought at one point when we were coming back from Washington this November after Thanksgiving, or December, early December, and she talked about like she really reflected on her mortality and like, what if there's nothing after? Like, what is it? And you're like, what if we got it wrong? So I was encouraging her, it's like you should probably think about this more often. Like you might be scared, and I could try to comfort you, but I think maybe because you've neglected to think about that a lot, I think your spirit is trying to like really is thirsting to think about this stuff. And so we went into this path, and one of the things that we talked about is like why we don't think about this is just how technology works and how socially we're structured. Everything is out there to distract us from it. So I'm thinking of like phones. We're constantly on the phone, not thinking about other things that we could be thinking about. And so we went into this, like, we were stuck in traffic, and we're like, think about cars, like before cars were like, we had to travel long distances, and they would be more intentional, right? Like, so you don't just travel for traveling, but you would only travel when it was necessary. When you did, you had all this time to think, and you had all these time, you had more interaction, you had this like more deep connection with nature, like you understood. And then not only that, you had horses, so you had even a deeper relationship with nature, because first you had to, the process to have that freedom to go from one place to another required you taming a beast, and understanding the land, and knowing what dangers are out there. So death was constantly in the forefront of everyone's mind, but I don't think people were as afraid as we think like how we would react if we were in those positions. We'd probably be shitting our pants every corner we went through. But I think back then it was really well integrated, and then the car came along and made it easy. So now not only did we go faster to places, which maybe that distance that we needed to travel was the necessary time that we could have for ourselves and bringing us back to nature, right? So the cars the vehicles rob us from that experience of being one-to-one with reality. And then not only that, but we came up with radios. So now, not only did we go quicker, but we give zero time to think and to reflect on things. So I think we've structured everything to a point where that we don't think about it. And I do think that, and to make it easy to avoid struggles, you know, like every new piece of technology. I mean, even my business deal, like we offer solutions for you not to suffer. You know, like make it easy so you don't have to go through the struggles. Reduce adversity at all costs. You know, but maybe the reason why that adversity is there is to, like, it's necessary for our living condition. You know, like maybe it's something that we must go through so for our lives to be fulfilled. And maybe that's why depression is, you know, it's constantly rising because addictions too. Like we're constantly filling up a void that could have been easily filled by how we're supposed to be living, you know, which is not an easy life. It's not a life without adversity. It's a life full of adversity, but in spite of that, like growing out into it, you know? So having a good relationship with death, having a good relationship with your mortality, having a good relationship with nature and people and everything out here, everything that surrounds us is engineered and designed to not think about that stuff, right? A home, we built it. The more we want a better and better home that's more secure, so we don't have to think about the dangers, right? So, so it's just, and then even food, we have fridges that keep our food safe for really long periods of time. Where back then you just get the right amount, because if you get too much, it's gonna go bad. So it's like getting the right amount. Thinking of treating animals right, because like if you don't treat animals right, you're gonna have bad food. You know, or like you're gonna have a bad land because they're not, you know, nature needs animals need nature, or we need everything. So it's this whole healthy, balanced cycle, you know. So that's kind of what we went. It was this long conversation that we had, and it was basically saying that the modern age, we've built so many things to distract us from our mortality. That is healthy to have, you know. Yeah, that's what.
You could put this in post edit, but man, that was Abs that thought about that.
No, it was a conversation between.
Dude, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in that conversation, bro. Like that just I wanted to add to that because, dude, that is insane. Because what if all these distractions that are made, like you said. Like I when you were talking, I was like, man, like DoorDash, dude, it made you like it made you like not want to have a home cooked meal. And like some of the coolest experiences when you make a home meal is like you can cook with your mom or dad, and that's something that's lost. Any convenience or think of every tablet, every TV that's in your home, every monitor that's in your home. Like those are more distractions, and I was thinking to myself, like, what if this is like, again, I don't know whose plan this is, but what if it's a plan to like just distract us and just make us just not think, just act like like just going through life, you know, not being intentional with your how you act as a own being, you know, and making you not want to think for your own self, like. Maybe these like distractions are made so that they make you think a certain way, so it benefits. Again, I just thought about it, like what if it just makes you like automatically think, oh hey, I need this thing, oh hey, I need this thing, like it's like automating you to not think for yourself anymore.
All what do you got in design? What when you design or advertise things. What we're selling is not really a product. We're selling anxiety. So it's like we convince you into an anxiety, so that anxiety helps you act on your fear to not have the thing, you know? Like, so we definitely, things are designed and engineered to make you feel anxious to have the thing, so you stop feeling anxious, even though that anxiousness was not even there to begin with. So there are things that are designed to make you anxious about things so that you don't have to. So I'm only saying that, yes, that's basically, I do think that people construct things so you get distracted. But I don't think that's like That's the soul thing. I think it's just a human condition that we don't want struggle. We don't want to suffer. And so we do anything.
We don't
at all
struggle
costs.
anymore.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. But struggle is maybe it's not a bad thing, you know? Yeah, so
you've heard that saying. There's beauty in the struggle.
Yeah.
There is something to take away from struggling in whatever aspect of your life, and there's something to take away from that. And,
yeah.
dang.
Yep.
I don't want to cut us short, but I don't know, like this might be a long one for listeners, but I think this is an essential one to listen. This is a good one. I feel like
I think we're getting better at the format. I'd say We'll see where we go to. It would be cool. Have a plan for like we have a kind of good plans. You know, I texted you a little bit like, what if we get
Oh yeah. I like the ideas that you were tossing out there. I was like, oh wow, okay, I like this.
And going like it would be cool because like I don't want to give too much, but because we get into history, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know exactly. What you're talking about.
So stay tuned. Maybe we'll get even better and better.
Yeah, I just wait. I want to end something on.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, man, see, this is gonna deep. But so if
go.
say I died,
mm-hmm.
what would you write on my tombstone?
Oh shit! Okay. Oh god.
Put you on the spot, but obviously I would do the same for you.
You black magic woman. I'm kidding. Hold on.
The listeners won't get that, but they'll find out sooner.
At some point.
Later,
I would say, great. I think a great friendship, but hold on. But that doesn't say much about you other than you had good friends. But someone who cared, someone who taught you to take care of yourself. Yeah. And I will say live the moment. Yeah. Someone to take care of yourself and live in the moment.
Dang. You really think that?
Yeah.
Dang. No, because I catch myself sometimes and
I have many reasons for that, but I don't know if you want me to say those.
We just leave it like that and the listeners like, wow, I wonder why you thought that. And that's a cliffhanger, but for Sam,
oh, for me? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give him the thumbs up. I'm going to say definitely a confident, curious, and say confident, curious, and trailblazer. I just say like I can go into the many reasons why, and like the listeners have to like probably listen to many more episodes, but that's what I think. Confident, curious, and trailblazing.
What's trailblazer?
A trailblazer. You make your own path.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, you make your own path. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that.
We'll leave the listeners with that, man.
Yeah.
Later.